Hey guys, so it's time to put the Xperia E5 to the test against last year's Xperia M4 Aqua. Very nice phone except for the storage obviously, but it does look a lot more premium than the new E5 on the left. So I wanted to see how they compared. I'm going to start them up at the same time. I'm going to do a speed and camera comparison here to see the performance, whether we have had a step up or not. We're getting a MediaTek processor in the E5 versus the Snapdragon 615, 2 gigs of RAM in the M4 Aqua versus 1.5. Slightly better bezel ratio than the M4, which has slightly bigger ones, but we did get waterproofing as well as I think nice battery life on the M4 Aqua, and a physical shutter button, which is missing from the E5 for some reason. And the E5 always beeps at me before it even comes on, and again you can see it doesn't like me. So we have updated both of them to the latest software. This is on Android Marshmallow as well, which was recently released for fairer comparison. So yeah, let's see how they compare. Just going to open up a few apps here. So far the old M4 Aqua seems to be quite ahead, which is weird. Both have slowed down here, but the E5 came up there. Ooh, E5 again. So I think the E5 had its coffee now and started to wake up. E5 again. Let's try store. Maybe the E5. Let's try PlayStation. E5 again. So after a slow start, it seems the E5 is actually doing quite well now. Maybe it takes a while to get the cogs in motion with the MediaTeks. We can just open up a game here. So we have Slither. And the oleophobic coating on the M4 Aqua, you can see is all really rubbed off here. I mean, it might need to be cleaned a little bit. But you can see, I think the E5 just pipped this one. We do have as well the classic, whatever this is. I don't even know what this is. I think it's Bejeweled. Ah yeah, it is Bejeweled because I couldn't install too much on the M4. Whoa, welcome back indeed. So I think the E5 was a little bit quicker there when it came to the some of the games, so that is good to know. I'm just going to have a look at the browsing here and see how they compare. So I think the E5 has a slightly bit brighter screen as well, maybe. So we can just go to something interesting, such as the Apple website. I want to see the iPhone 7. What I'm getting is the iPhone 6s. So it looks like the components are being a bit quicker on the E phone. Both support 5G, Wi-Fi.
With iPhone multi-touch,
Whoa. So I think the M4 actually loaded that quicker. So let's try another one. Quite similar. Let's try another one. Phone Arena. So I want to run a speed test here. I want to test the connection strength. Some people are saying on Marshmallow it's not very good with the M4 Aqua. So we're going to see here. And I think the E5 is probably the most disappointing phone on the Wi-Fi I've tested this year. I mean, seriously, this supports the 5G, as you can see, and it's trash. It's Sony trash, that is. Let's have a look at the M4 Aqua. Oh, it's going up, it's going up. Yes, you can see very decent here. Twice as good as the... What does MediaTek use for its Wi-Fi solution? Seriously. I mean, it's not good. The upload's good. But I want the download, you know. So we're just going to round the video off now, quickly looking at the multitasking, which I don't think is going to be very good on either of them, to be honest. They both have compromises. The weird architecture of Snapdragon 615 versus 1.5 gigs in the E5 for the RAM. But so far it looks like we're having a bit of reloading on both of them, and I think the E5 is recovering a little bit faster. Which is very nice considering the RAM allocation not being the best. See the game here. Oh, this one kept in memory. This one didn't. Let's see this one. Again, kept in memory. So maybe actually the M4 is better when it comes to keeping things in memory because of that little bit more RAM. But when it comes to the actual speed of going back into it, the E5 seems to be better. You can see again, big delay on this. I think it's to do with the clusters and all that kind of malarkey. So, you know, as I said, I think we can have a look at the camera now, which I did do some low light and like good light shots. So I think we're getting 13 megapixel cameras in both of them, and you can have a look here. We did do a selfie shot, and I gotta say, I think the M4 Aqua gives me the more reliable experience overall. The problem with the E5 at the moment is that it tends to overexpose things unless you use the manual mode. So you're gonna have to lower the brightness on the manual mode to get good shots. As you can see, this is what we did, and these shots are very usable on the E5. Not necessarily any better though than the M4 Aqua, which was on the superior auto mode. So maybe they'll push out an update to solve this issue, but for now the shots that the E5 does on the auto mode are pretty unusable, and that's a bit of a shame. In terms of the low light, I've noticed as well that the M4 seems to let in a bit more light here, leading to more clearer shots for some reason. We did use the night mode on both of them to see this, and you can see some of the shots on the E5 were very grungy, and I just preferred the M4 Aqua, I think, really, for the low light. Selfies quite similar, not too much difference really. So we're doing comparison here between the new E5 and the M4 Aqua Full HD, and you can see how they handle exposure. I have actually put the E5 down a little bit in terms of the brightness, because it is a very bright kind of device when it comes to the video. We shall look at the focusing. Or lack of focusing. Wow. Both of them very slow here, but I think we have focus. So not the fastest devices, but they certainly do focus eventually. Another weird thing is the lack of options on the E5 compared to the M4 Aqua. You can see we get all these cool, features like AR effects, whereas you don't get any of that on the E5 for some peculiar reason. So personally, I think I'd have preferred a new like M4 or M6 kind of thing. Really, I know we have the M5. Which is also quite good, but it's quite expensive considering. I was really looking forward to a new kind of M series phone. I think this E5, while it's good in some areas, it's a little bit tame at the same time, because you're not getting waterproofing, and the actual performance isn't really a massive step up from the M4 Aqua. The only reason why I'd actually suggest you upgrade to the E5 is for the memory. Obviously we get 16 gigs internal, which is very nice. It means that you can download and install bigger games, whereas this is like atrocious. You have like 1 gig free after the Marshmallow update, and I think I'm already using like 80% or 90% of the storage. So I'd say either get the 16 gig M4 Aqua or the E5 really. At the end of the day, probably the M4 Aqua is still the better phone right now. Yeah, just a quick little video here comparing these two. Hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.